talents, and we are still going on. We have not finished. We still have schools who are performing, and then we are activating. Immediately after a performance, we activate to World Athletics, and I want to believe by the end of the day on 30th, we shall know who is going to be the winner, etc., etc.
All right. So at the end of it all, just some of the key events, because we've seen that there's a lot of innovation when it comes to kids athletics.
Yes.
So the thing is, I was looking at pictures coming from, I think, Cameroon, and there was also some from Ghana that I saw, and you could see they were trying to create a relay, for example.
Yes.
Low hurdles, hurdles that are probably just about a foot high. Trying to be a little bit innovative with, what you'd call a javelin.
Yes.
How are you getting them to compete across the various track and field disciplines?
In fact, this year we decided that we don't follow the activities of the World Athletics, and we taught the teachers to be innovative. They make their own kinds of activities, and I thank God that teachers are creative. That is why you see some jump over a heap of grass.
Yes.
Others will jump over maybe a carton. Others would use even sticks to do whatever they are doing. And I want to believe we are going somewhere, because naturally we were getting the activities from World Athletics. But now it is open. Teachers can do innovation, they can do an activity which is not there. And when World Athletics receives it, of course, they put it in the activities of kids. So kids is about enjoyment, kids is about innovation, kids is about creation. You create something from your mind, and you do it physically.
Well, kids athletics culminating Saturday. Where to look out for because Saturday is the 30th.
Yes.
Where do we look out for that final event as it comes to a close?
We shall not have a final event in Kenya, because we did it in Kituro. We did it in Kituro Comprehensive School in Baringo. But schools are still performing, and even individual people are also performing. Actually, the final performance for the nation was in Kituro on 14th of May.
All right. So there you have it. And eventually, let's see, Kenya, top last year and this year. And also talking about the youth is that we have got the Arusha hosting the under 18 and under 20 championships. Just tell us about, first of all, the Arusha event, and from the experiences of having to take two teams. This is, well, after, we'd have to say from 2018 onwards, where you had to combine the under 18 and under 20 teams at regional and also continental championships. What has been the experience then?
I think it has been Arusha, or Tanzanian Association of Athletics, has given this region a lot of experience, because like in Kenya, whenever we give that team for the under 18, that team for the under 20, we take those athletes who are even very young. They have never competitively gone to international areas. And I want to believe, since we started, or since we went to that championship, Kenya has done very well. Some of those athletes graduate to under 20 and they perform very well. Like last year we did the championship in Zanzibar, and I'm telling you, some of those athletes who are in Zanzibar now have joined the team to Oregon. So us in Kenya, we don't get the experienced ones. For example, the team we selected for the Arusha event was basically selected from the National Secondary Schools Championships. All right? So it means we are very new athletes who have never competitively gone outside this country, and we are building them to a future. Our head coach, Coach Ngisrei, was given that designation to go to Kisumu, and we kind of talked on phone. Whenever he was doing selection, we were talking with him as the secretary. And I want to believe still that team of 20, the under 18 are 10. Those are 5 boys, 5 girls. The under 20, 5 boys, 5 girls, is going to perform very well, because traditionally we have done very well in the under 20, under 18 championship for the Eastern Africa regional championships.
Well, looking at how you prepare them, because it's this is term 2.
Yes.
What happens is I know term 1 has got the cross country. Term 2 is where we would now see the track and field in the secondary schools, because looking at the age grade, under 18 would be looking at those in senior school. The under 20, it could some who have just about to finish senior secondary or have completed senior secondary. How are you managing that the 10? For the under 18s?
Yes.
And how they progress?
The team that we selected basically is a school's team, and we have not brought them back to Nairobi as for now. But they will be coming back to Nairobi on 1st of June, which means they are still in class. One thing in the youth development is that we are telling our learners to make sure that they go to school, they score well, and they run well. Because that way they will get maybe scholarships to areas like US, like Japan. I have seen Germany want to come in now. So we want those young ones to be in class as many days as possible so that they don't lose. So the Arusha-born team will come back to Nairobi on 1st. Just for 2 days, preparation, then they will be leaving to Arusha on 3rd, because the championship will be on 5th and 6th. So that is what we are doing. We make sure that the athlete is still in class, and he or she is still training. We told them, in fact, before they left Nyayo Stadium on Saturday, we told them that they need to go and continue training with their coaches. All right? So that as they learn, the coach also goes out. The times that he has prepared, we didn't want to command that you must do this and that, but let them. We told them to go to the coach, go into in the program of the coach as they still go into class.
Also, there you've had it, and that means first week of June, 20 athletes, 10 in the under 18s, 10 in the under 20s. The old names that we would say is that you have got youth who are now the under 18s, and the juniors who are the under 20s, now definitely designated by their age cutoff. The World Under 20 Championships. This is still one event that World Athletics has retained, and Kenya has also hosted the World Under 20 Championships, and after hosting the World Under 18 Championships, and at the last time out, Kenya finished 5th globally, 3 gold, 3 silver, and a bronze. And Eugene, Oregon is going to be hosting these championships from the 5th to the 9th of August, bringing in the conversation about of 23 athletes who have been selected for the World Athletics Under 20 Championships that will be hosted in Eugene, Oregon from the 5th to the 9th of August 2026. The team is to report to camp a month before departure, that is on the 30th of July, and also remember, trying to improve on Kenya finishing 5th in 2024, 3 gold, 3 silver, and a bronze. So we've got the full list of it, but let me come back to you on this. And it is a lesson that Kenya learned last year about events being hosted in the US. A very unusual time to hold a national cross-country trials, October. Yet the event was in January. This time round, it's May. The event is in August. Lesson learned about preparing a team, especially when it comes to travel documentation with the US Embassy, because they have got their regulations which must be adhered to, so there's at least a 2-month window, and how you're making sure that the 23 athletes selected do get their book their visa interview slots confirmed in good time?
Yes, I think this is the second time that we are getting it the hard way, because usually the cross-country championships or selection of a cross-country team is usually done maybe a month or 2 months prior to the championship. But this year's championship, we did the selection in October, and we learned a lesson from that. That is why we did the under-20 championships as trials earlier. In fact, the trials would have come in July, but when we learned from the cross-country team, we had to bring back the trials to be in May, so that we have enough time of documentation and also the visa application, etc., etc. In fact, on Saturday after I named the team, those athletes who were named did not go home. We hosted them in an hotel. Yesterday, which is not a working day, in fact a worship day, we were in Riyadh House documenting those athletes, taking photos, collecting the passports, collecting the birth certificates. And for those ones who are under 18, of course, we also collected the consent letters from their parents. Because when you are under 18 and you do not have an ID, then you should have a consent from your parent that he or she agrees that you can go and represent Kenya in a championship. So I want to believe we did the documentation yesterday. Everything is okay. Right now, one of our AK employees is doing the documentation in a kind of we are sending an email to US Embassy, so that we can get a chance of these athletes going for interviews as early as possible. It is not very easy with the US. It is not like the other countries, because I've traveled very many other countries, and we have always gone maybe a day and the following morning we get visas. But with the US it is different. That is why we had to take that kind of action. We do the championships earlier. One other thing which may have brought maybe a lot of question was because initially we had said that the athletes whom we invited must have a passport, an original passport, they must have a birth certificate. And maybe some of our coaches were caught unawares, because they didn't know that that requirement was going to be. But it was brought because of the fact that after the selection, the following morning, which was yesterday, we did documentation for every athlete. So there was no time maybe of getting an athlete who didn't have a passport, who did not have, actually mostly the passport. And the passport was supposed to be accompanied by the birth certificate. So that when the embassy gets the passport of this athlete, they also see the names in the birth certificate the same as the passport. The date of birth, is it the same as in the passport? There is also a requirement of the parents. Are the parents in the birth certificate the ones which have been used to apply the visa? So I think that is a clarity, and I want to tell our coaches in Kenya, we should be ready, because when we get such kind of problems, maybe some of our best athletes may not be invited to come and compete. So I want to say, when whoever is a coach and he or she finds out that this athlete will be ready and can competitively maybe go to a championship and win, then the first thing they should do is to tell the parents, can you get passports for these athletes? So that when a championship comes, nobody is going to be hindered from joining the team.
Actually, it's very interesting that you bring that conversation, because I would like to refer to, our under-17 girls team when they were traveling to Namibia. There is one player who couldn't travel You know, people came up with all sorts of stories, but the fact was she could not have a passport. And as I mean, there is what you have identified. I can even simply start with the potential strong under 18s. How much are you working together with schools, parents, coaches who are down at your, multiple camps across the country to encourage these young people to pick up, to have facilitation for passports, to acquire the passports?
Usually Athletics Kenya will write that letter to the National Passports Board saying that this athlete has been selected to join this team. But the payments, any kind of a payment is individual.
Yes, correct.
Yes, we don't pay for the passports, but we write a cover letter that these athletes have joined the team, and that was then. But this one for for the US, we could not even write a letter because it was Saturday and Sunday documentation is done. Then the finalizing is done, and those documents go to the US Embassy for verification. Later on, the athletes and the officials, of course, will be called for interviews. Otherwise, as for the selected team, I would say that yesterday we had a meeting, and we are saying the athletes that we invited and they were selected, we are going to be monitoring them. In fact, the head coach was given that mandate to create a program on how, because there are many days to the camp.
Yes.
The camp will be coming on 5th July. So between now and July, we want to monitor these athletes. So the head coach was mandated to give that program of how are we, as the youth development, how are we going to monitor these athletes as they are in school, and those ones, as you said, in the under 20 category, we have a few who finished school last year or last year but one, and they are still under 20. So we have that plan, and I want to believe every athlete who was selected will be monitored, and in case we find there is a problem, as the youth development, we shall be able to help that athlete to achieve the goal. So that when they come on 5th, we shall have a team which is almost at par, and those coaches and the team management will only have a short period of time to sharpen, then they go and represent us in the US.
Well, talking about, so I just did a mental count of how many days to the camp. It's 40 days.
Yes.
To the camp, and that is starting today. Talk about the team that has been selected. It's a blend of first-timers. You've also got experienced athletes. Think of Joylyn Chepkemoi and Cynthia Chepkurui, who are African champions at under 20 level. That is at the 5,000 meters. The criteria eventually used to select the 2 athletes in each event where Kenya was to qualify.
Yes, as the youth development, we sat down and we gave out the criteria. We gave it to the media. We talked to the coaches, and we told them the criteria was the first one to finish was an automatic qualifier. Then the number 2 or the other athlete to join was to go through a criteria by the selection committee. So youth is not like senior where you select 3. I know in the seniors they say the first 2 to cross the line are automatically qualified, and of course they are automatic qualifiers when they have qualified in the standards which are given by World Athletics. So in the youth, because we have only 2, we are given only 2 athletes, we had said that the first athlete to cross the line was an automatic qualifier. Then the second one was going to go through the selection committee's questioning, or the selection committee would go and see how is the performance of this athlete, how has she or how has he performed in maybe the weekend meets, in the meets that we had this year. So that was the criteria that we used.
Now, looking at the team that was selected, we have the men's 100 meters, we have got the women's 400 meters. In fact, the women's 400 meters has got 2 athletes, the men's 100 has 1. But no men in the 200, no men in the 400, no women in the 100 and 200. What's the perspective of, because I know there are entry standards to these events, we can't avoid that. But what were the things observed over the weekend for this particular event, you know, in the sprints where Kenya could only afford 3 athletes in total?
Yes, I think I want to say that we have the Omanyala spirit in Kenya nowadays. And I also want to thank God that we got an 100 meters athlete, a boy who is going to represent us in Oregon. Kenya has always had 400 meters, 400 meters handles, etc., for the World Championships. We have never had a qualifier for 100 meters. So I want to thank God that the coach for Cowell did very well. And of course, even before we came to the championship, he had run a qualifying time. So he only did it to say, yes, I'm ready to go to Oregon this time, because he ran that race very well. I think with the 400 meters men, with the 200 meters men, and maybe the 100 meters women, 200 meters women, we still have not perfected very well. And I want to believe the coaches very soon will be looking into it. Otherwise, even now as we talk, we have given a chance. We have given a chance to about 5 athletes. And we have told them, can you go to any championship which is near, see whether you can qualify. So, in fact, tomorrow we have athletes who are going to be running in the police championships in Ulinzi. We want to see whether they can qualify. Otherwise, the spirit is good. And I thank God that we have 100 meters this time round. And we have never had that chance to name.
Let's also talk about one athlete, Africa Youth Games champion, Emmanuel Lemiso. He was Africa Youth Games, that's under 18 champion in the 2,000 meters. He's been selected in this team. He's going to be running in a 3,000 meters steeplechase. Actually, Africa Youth Games 2,000 meters steeplechase champion Lemiso is doing both events. The reason why he can do both Arusha and Oregon as compared to others?
Yes, Lemiso has been a very good character. Of course, I traveled with him in under 18. I was the team manager for the under 18 in Nigeria last year, and he did very well. He was #1 in the steeplechase for the under 18, and this time round he was still #1 in the 3,000 meters steeplechase for the men under 20. We also selected him to go for 1,500 meters. 1,500 meters is for speed.
Yes.
So we thought if he would be given a chance to go for another competition outside the country, maybe he will perfect his speed, because he will not be doing his real event, but he will be running 1,500 meters. That is why we put him in that race.
Overall, let's take a look. For those who are doubling, how do you want to, for example, help them manage? Because looking at the team, okay, somebody would double at a 5-day championship. You'd have to be extremely fit, so to speak. So how are you going to, look at, especially their physical, their, what do I call them? The fitness and form status, over the next 40 days before you're with them in camp, and for somebody like Lemiso, an assessment of how he runs in Arusha?
I want to say we have, I think we have only one lady who is doubling, that is Nancy Kibet.
Yes.
She's doing 800
and 400.
And 400. World Athletics for the under 20 allows that. But anything more than that, anything to do with 3,000, 5,000, World Athletics does not allow for...
Protect the young ones.
They don't allow for doubling. So I want to believe Nancy also is coming in with a lot of wealth of experience, because we traveled with her to Nigeria, and she also did very well. And I want to believe she's very strong. She can do that. And again, the program, we also look at the program for the World Championships. They are far apart. The 400 meters and the 800 meters will not be done at the same time. One will start, finish, then the other one starts, and it will come to an end. So that is why we accepted that she doubles. The others are running one event.
Looking at the kind of team selected and the kind of depth that you would want, and also to improve on the 3 gold, the 3 silver, and a bronze from 2024, how strong is this team, given that you had to put in some, like you mentioned, for example, the passport first criteria because of the documentation work that has to be done with the US Embassy? How strong is this team? What have been the improvements over the last 2 years?
I would say we have a better team than the one which represented us in Peru, simply because the times they have posted this year, like the 5,000 meters, as I said, we had said that the first one gets an automatic qualification. The second one goes through the selection criteria. In that case, the second one in 5,000 meters has posted the best time. He didn't run because he had an injury.
Okay.
Anaendelea na hospitali. But he has posted the best time in the world this year. If you saw Emmanuel, the 3,000 meters winner, he won with a very big gap. So the spirit is very good. Peru, we had a problem. We selected a team, and some of the athletes went through the AIU process, and we had to leave some. So our team was not complete when they went to that place. This time round, we have selected a team where AIU has gone through their documentation, and we want to believe we shall not lose one. So the 22, they are 22. The 22 who are going to represent Kenya in Oregon, US, are going to be stronger than the 2024 team which went to Peru. You can be sure.
And we hope that Eugene, Oregon brings us some good tidings. You can still remember 2014.
Yes.
Is when they were there?
Yes.
All right. We'll be coming to close that conversation, because just about the transition of youth to senior and facilities in the youth camps, we'll be doing that as we come to a close. But let's take a short break on Sports Check. We'll be coming back to conclude this conversation and also have a conversation with Captain Irene Ndanu on her soccer summit. Our sign language interpreter this hour has been Anwangeshi. And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning, the 25th day of May 2026. Well, it's a day, lots happening. We've earlier this morning had a briefing on clarifications on the Finance Bill 2026 by Treasury Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable John Mbadi. Also remember that later today, CS John Mbadi and his counterpart in the Energy Ministry, the Honorable Opio Wandai, will be meeting with the Departmental Committee on Budgets. They will be presenting their budgets for that State Department. And also, the East Africa Broadcasters Forum, organized by the Association of Professional Broadcasters, a briefing. It's an event that's going to be taking place over the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. KBC is a media partner for that event, plus also news on what's happening all across the country in politics, when it comes to business and also sport. So our teams will be taking care of that. Well, we are concluding our conversation, and this is around the World Athletics Under-20 Championships. We're with Joseph Ilovi. He's the Secretary, Youth Development Athletics Kenya. The team selected is giving us their strength, improved times, and as part of what has been going on, school holiday camps have been put in place. So you've got at least a camp in every county in this country. And let's talk about the impact of these camps and how the facilities in these camps are being put in place to ensure that we have a modern way of, catch up with the modern world in terms of athletics?
Thank you, Mr. Wahome. I want to start by thanking the President of Athletics Kenya and the Director Youth Development because of the initiative of youth camps in schools. I also want to thank the Ministry of Education because we partnered, we have an MOU, and that is why as youth development we said all the camps will be hosted by our secondary schools or primary schools. I also still want to thank the Ministry for Youth and Sports for the money that they usually put in the camps for the athletes to train well, knowing that they have food, they have water, they have everything which is needed. That is one. Now, after we started with a few camps, but this time round we have about 62 camps all over this country. And do I tell you, Mr. Wahome, that these athletes that we have chosen, the under 20, which is who are going to Oregon, and those ones who are traveling to Arusha, they are all sons of camps from their home areas. So the thought of government-funded camps came in time because athletes are joining those camps. They are training very well. Then they also go to school because, as I said, youth development has that kind of thought that these athletes should also be learned. You have seen some of our athletes from the camps again have gotten scholarships to go and study in the US universities. So those camps, when they were designated, they brought a lot of unity. And I want to believe in those areas where they are, the athletes are benefiting a lot. And that is why now you can see we can even purely say one day we want an athlete from this camp because we have seen what he or she has done, and we give that athlete a chance to go outside and he wins or she wins. So the development of the camps came in time, and that is where the grassroots work is being done. And that is why I'm saying now we have good performances in our youth. The other thing is, again, the camps have also helped us in age. Initially, maybe we could have had maybe 1 or 2 manipulated ages. But this time round, because whenever we have a camp, the camp gives a report. They send the documents those athletes brought to the camp. So I think...
So that, I mean, because manipulated age means what we simply call age cheating.
Yes.
Where you are 20, but you want to say you are 17.
Yes, you are 17. So our camps have helped us a lot. Because again, strictly, whenever we visit the camps, we also go and look for the documents when we are monitoring. So I think the camps have given us a pat at the back. And that is why we are seeing a future very soon. And the transition again, initially you would see an athlete run in the under 20. When he or she goes to the senior, he gets lost. So this time round, there is that control. The athlete from grassroots is growing to the senior level in a system.
Transitions, because actually that's a conversation that you want to see because, for example, we can see already here, basically from the team, Joylene Chepkemoi, Cynthia Chepkurui, and obviously Emmanuel Lemiso. We are mentioning him so often. How much more transitions do we want to see like this? Because I think one of the big, if I was to mention some great transitions, Janet Chepkosgei,
yes,
Vivian Cheruiyot,
Faith
Kipyegon,
yes,
David Rudisha,
and even Beatrice Chebet.
And people forget Eliud Kipchoge. He was a world cross-country junior champion, yes, and world champion in the same year.
On the track.
So how do we, make sure that this continues, such that you can tell a story over time. I mean, even before Boniface Mosheru suffered that injury that put a stop to his career, He was also from this age grade system.
Yeah, we are getting it right, because even the championship which ended in Ghana, we had two girls, a girl who ran in steeplechase, and she was position 2. She is still in the team because she was number 2 in the under 20.
Yes.
We had a girl who ran 5,000 meters, and she's in the team. So the transition is proper. We are getting it right.
Yeah. Sorry, we are talking about Mercy Chepngeno, who won silver.
Yes.
In the steeplechase in Accra. So, and making sure that the facilities are there. If you take a look at other countries, Accra, Ghana, we know was the story to tell. We know we did not take what would be the A squad for Kenya, but we could see development in other countries. For example, Ethiopia winning the 400 meters flat was, a big headline anywhere. How are you trying to make sure that the right equipment is there, especially for sprinters and what we have seen currently as the growth of field events?
I would say that we would kindly ask the county governments, because this comes in the counties. We would ask the county governments to get some good fields for our athletes, and even the government to chip in, so that at the end of the day we get standard fields. Some of these athletes qualify and their fields are not standard. So if the county governments would come in and maybe build stadiums which are standard, would be in a better position. Because like some areas, they travel very far to go and do lapping, because their fields are not 400 meters fields. So the county governments can come in and assist in that case.
Then, looking forward, this is a year, just looking at the dates of the under 20 side, those who wanted to shock the seniors just before the Commonwealth Games will not have an opportunity, because the two events overlap.
Yes.
Quite in the Commonwealth Games and the under 20s. What's the outlook going forward for youth development in Kenya?
I would say this year, of course, maybe the under 20s will not be able to get a slot for the Commonwealth. Although it is still possible, because the Commonwealth trials will be done in June. And again, the team going to Oregon will be back on 20th, when the Commonwealth will not be done. They can get a chance.
Actually, the Commonwealth Games will be done by the 7th, because it starts on the 23rd
yes.
of July, for about 10 or so days. It's actually a short Commonwealth Games.
A short period.
So that means the 22 going to Oregon, unless they use the trials as a test event.
They can get a chance. If maybe they get a chance and they fly straight, that is the way. If one gets a chance to go into that senior team, he or she can fly straight from Oregon to where the Commonwealth will be done. But anyway, we are giving them this one opportunity to run for Kenya for the under 20. Like, seriously, we want them to think about that before they start thinking of the Commonwealth, because if they have a divided mind and divided thought, they may not do very well as we want in Oregon. So that is the chance we are giving them for this time.
Well, so there you've seen it, and the Commonwealth Games coming, the trials, and remember that if Athletics Kenya doing a lot of documentation. Today is a public holiday for the American, for the United States. It's Memorial Day. They're remembering their soldiers. So maybe if police championships was on today, you'd have had to do some extra paperwork before you take it to the embassy tomorrow. Yeah. But looking at this, the way you manage athletes, it's early in the track season. Well, cross country is done. It's early in the track season, and we start looking out, for future stars. But I know also over the weekend, looking at how things are. First of all, Kenyans performance in China. How would you rate it at the Xiamen Diamond League and Shanghai just before that, the Kekau, the 2 weekends? I mean, Omanyala, second and first. Faith Cherotich, Faith Mudogo, second and third. And she's coming off injury against the two best, the other top two in the world. Your take on this?
I want to say that our athletes are actually readying themselves for the Commonwealth very well, because the Diamond League, of course, gives out a platform where they get the best. I thank God that Omanyala was second, and in the second Diamond League, he beat the person who beat him in the first one.
Yes.
As you have said, Faith, who has come through the camps again, you see that transition, had an injury, and we pray that that injury is cured before the Commonwealth, because I know she will do very well. So that is a picture. The Diamond League now is giving us a picture of what Kenya will be doing in the events which are coming in the future. And this year is a year of Commonwealth. So I want to believe Omanyala, Faith Kipyegon, Faith Cherotich, etc. Those athletes who are in top in the world will still be in top in the Commonwealth Games.
And making sure that, for Athletics Kenya, making sure that a lot is taken, meeting with education for these youngsters. You mentioned about the AIU checks when it comes to the under 20, because Kenya is a category A listed nation. How much are you working with the Anti-Doping Association of Kenya to make sure that this education happens countrywide? And what very many people are talking about is Sebastian Kibaru Sawe. He has an enhanced testing program that is actually driven by his management, but at this time, we know normally it's supposed to be random. How are you working to ensure that this happens and you do not lose out on people who are medal prospects?
I want to say with the under 20, it is not very specific on testings, but in every event, like in the national championships in Nyayo last weekend, Friday and Saturday, the anti-doping personnel was there. And we made sure every athlete that we saw as the selection committee as qualified, he or she was tested. That was an in competition. Then we have the outside competition, where now anti-doping will go to the village or to the school. I think our athletes are learning that they need to give their whereabouts, because without the whereabouts, then of course you cannot be seen outside the competition area. So we are telling the under 20 athletes, you are now getting into men. You are now going into the senior. You need to start. You need to know how to maintain your body, what to do, and when. So I thank God that anti-doping was there. The athletes were given they were given lessons by the anti-doping people, and as I want to believe up to now, an athlete who is doing very well knows that what goes in the body, it is him or her who has made it to be that way, because that is the process and that is the best. When I know if I take aspirin, is going to give me some energy to do more work, and I still take, I have not been told by my coach, I have not been told by my manager, I have not been told by my teacher. It is me, and I know the list of the unwarranted medication.
Yes, prohibited.
Yes, list. Prohibited substances. It is in the hair, so everybody knows. So we are telling our under 20, you are now getting tested, maybe oftenly. There before they only be tested in competition, but now they are going for the out competition testing. So they need to give their whereabouts. so that when Hadak is seated in Nairobi, they can connect Ilovi in Makueni and come there. Because I have said, I usually wake up at Samoja in the morning. Maybe I go for training for 1 hour. I also show the field where I go for that training. I come back and I sleep for some hours, or I do some other things right at home. Then I also go for another training another time. That is what is about in the whereabouts. Yes.
And when you talk about this, one of the things that we always say is adapt, innovate. And so it's a series of things that we need to do it. Is how then are you doing the education across the country, especially for for the athletes, and not necessarily use English, but if it is in Makueni, you can use the Kamba language. If it is in Moranga, you can speak in Gikuyu. If it is in Kajiado, you can speak the Ma language. How are you incorporating this kind of education such that people really understand it in language that
Yes.
they're most comfortable with?
Yes. In fact, I would say some time, was it this year? Yes, sometime this year, in the beginning of this year, the Hadak people, through Athletics Kenya Youth Development, went to all the camps. You
52.
see, all those camps were visited. The reason was masomo. So that even that one who is 16 years old, who is 15, because we brought in the camps, we brought everybody. They learned. They had lessons for about 2 hours. So I think that is a plus for the youth development and the incorporation of ADAC to go to all the camps. And again, during the same time, they mapped. Now ADAC can go to Kilgoris, to a camp, because they also know the pin without asking. That was actually the reasoning, that we also need ADAC to know where the camps are, so that when they need an athlete from that area, they can go straight away without asking where is this athlete. They just go to the camp. So I think the lessons taught by ADAC have been sufficient, because when they came to the camps, they would use maybe the language. If somebody of that place is with ADAC, they would again. If the students or if the athletes will not know a lot of English, there was that Kiswahili kind of inception.
Yes.
Yes, there was that Kiswahili inception. And in some time, if they do not understand the Kiswahili very well, like myself, I would tell them in Kikamba, tell them this is what the other person is telling you. So I think the inception to the camps, the visitation to the camps, brought a lot of glamour as far as ADAC is concerned and as far as the prohibited substances are concerned.
Coaching education, because this is very important, such that we know, for example, you have worked with Coach Ngisire, you've managed some athletes, and here comes an opportunity where you've got to know this is a sprint athlete, so this is a regime that you'd like to take them through, but at the same time help them grow. Their bodies are growing.
Yeah.
So until they hit around 1920, that's when you can see the particular form that an athlete has. But how are you helping them grow? The coaches, so that they understand how they develop an athlete, not only to be competitive, but develop as their body matures over. Especially between 14 and 19.
Actually, in coaching, a coach is given so many names. A coach has very many names.
We can go through the lists.
But one of the things that a coach does is that whenever he or she gets an athlete, he puts that athlete first. So whenever you are coaching an athlete, it is the athlete first. Meaning, if that athlete has need, the needs should be catered for. If that athlete is sick, then he or she should go to hospital. If that athlete needs counseling, the counseling should be done. So always a coach puts an athlete first. Then the other things will come. The development, the running, the standards, the good running will come automatically. I have said that a coach has got very many names. A coach is a teacher. A coach is a counselor. A coach is a doctor. A coach is a father or a mother. A coach is a nutritionist, because you need to know what food, what are the feeding options so that this athlete runs well. So I would give a very long list of who a coach is. So for one to fit into that system, then he or she must know what is my mandate as a coach. Because sometimes you may find an athlete who is not performing very well. But later on, when you mold the athlete, he or she becomes one of the best. So I would say that we have coaching, we have coaches who have been given that opportunity to go to school through World Athletics, and I would say they are doing very well, and that is why we don't miss good athletes in Kenya, because the coaches are there and they are doing their work properly.
And what is it called? Information review. People say we live in the information age. Data.
Yes.
You have made a straight comparison, for example, on the timings of the under 20 side that you had in 2024 and the under 20 side that you have in 2026. How are you using all of this data to make sure that the success is measured well and continues?
One thing, Bwana Wahome, just the way you have said, you cannot go forward when you don't look backwards. We sat down and we saw the performance of our team in Peru. We saw the mistakes which were done. For example, I said about age manipulation. We sat down and said we want a pure team. That is why now I said the head coach of the youth team was
Coach Ngisire.
Yes, Coach Ngisire was in Kisumu. Why? So that he can go and see, are those athletes we are targeting doing well? What is their performance? What is not happening? So that when they are invited for the trials, they can come and perform. And again, they can come and perform even better than what they did in the trials for Peru. So I want to believe in this world now, you cannot live without data. Even the ones we have chosen now, we shall use them for next selection. We shall see. Emmanuel ran very well. Are we getting another Emmanuel? If he goes there and gets a goal, are we getting another Emmanuel to replace him so that we don't lose a goal that we won? If Cynthia Chepkurui is going there, she was number 2 in the World Cross Country Championships. If she goes there and wins the 5,000, or either Joylene, they go and win. What did we do for them to win? Next time, that is 2028, then we shall be able to have a way forward. This is what we did in 2026. We got these athletes. They performed very well. We want to even get a better team than the one which represented us in the 2026 event.
Thank you very much.